Hi everyone, Janelle here. I am the owner and functional nutritionist at Mountain Rebalance. And today I thought I would come clean with my own experience with fatigue. So fatigue shows up differently for everybody, and there are many different causes of fatigue. I'm actually going to be doing a talk on that in a couple weeks. But for now, I just thought I'd share my personal story with fatigue. So essentially, I was one of those classic moms that go, running a business, getting another degree, a mom to 4 kids. I was still having a robust social life, exercising, running most days of the week. And I was just pushing through, no matter how much more came, pushing through. And despite, I was eating really clean, I don't drink coffee. So, I was doing a lot, quote unquote, that looked right, but I was still pushing. And so I could feel then for a while my cortisol levels really high. So that stress hormone, cortisol, elevated, dealing with all of these stressors. So no matter what kind of stress our body experiences, we produce cortisol in our adrenal glands in order to prepare for fight or flight. So I felt that like wired all the time, go, do, cortisol surging all the time. And I just pushed through that. And then summer hit and the kids are out of school and, that's more intense to deal with what kids are doing, still running my business, trying to get that other degree, and my son had a huge surgery that kept him home and in bed for a few months. So this is the point I was starting to feel still that wired high cortisol, but then huge drops in the day. By the time the afternoon hit, I would just crash. I could go to bed at 4. So wired, but then crashing. So it's this phase of high cortisol and then drops in cortisol as your brain starts to say, that's too much cortisol all the time. So the term adrenal fatigue is definitely not accurate. Your adrenals aren't getting fatigued. Your adrenals are working perfectly fine, but it's your brain that's starting to say, hey, too much cortisol here. And it's this wonky phase of highs and lows. And then I continued to push through. And then all of a sudden, I just realized one day I just was low. I was feeling tired all the time. I didn't want to go out with my friends. I didn't want to go running with my friends. All these things that I usually love to do. And I wasn't wanting to engage in any of them. It probably would have sounded like I was depressed, but I knew I wasn't depressed. I'm not a depressed person. I just felt low all the time. And so I ended up, I don't even think I consciously did it, but I ended up doing a hormone panel at that point, a salivary hormone panel. So I spit into some vials throughout the day, sent them in, and it came back. And I remember opening it and showing my husband and saying, if someone came to me with this hormone curve of cortisol, I would shake them and tell them that something had to stop, something had to give. So it didn't surprise me, but it just validated how I felt. So instead of my cortisol spiking high in the morning and then slowly coming down during the day till it's low at night so you can sleep, mine was just barely doing anything. I wasn't producing any cortisol anymore. So again, I didn't have a disease. I didn't have Addison's disease. My adrenals were functioning fine. In theory, my brain was where your hypothalamus and your pituitary, so your HPA, your hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis was just dysfunctioning. My brain was saying, no more, too much cortisol. This girl's going to kill herself if she keeps at this stress level. So we're just going to stop making cortisol. And that worked to get my attention finally after pushing through for so long. And so finding those results, which I should have just listened to my body earlier, which I encourage people to do, but getting those results helped me know that I really needed to make a change. And I really needed to do this cradle that is required to really heal and repair that endocrine system so it can function well again. And it can take a couple months. It took me a few months to finally feel back to myself again. So for me, that meant, well, really for everybody, but the details are a little bit different of the cradle that needs to happen, is blood sugar. So really focusing on blood sugar, because blood sugar is the king of the endocrine system. So if our blood sugar is off, all of the hormones downstream are going to be off. So really focusing on my blood sugar, keeping that within a very stable range through the day was important. Getting sleep every night, 8 hours, no matter what, in bed, winding down, having a routine, setting boundaries so that I could be in bed and asleep for 8 hours, no matter what that looked like. Also saying no to friends for a while. So really putting up my boundaries and asking myself if things filled me up or if they depleted me. And that was different at that time than it is now. So I really needed to protect myself from doing too much socially. And exercise, I kind of stopped running. I'm a big runner and I run about 6 miles a day, and I just backed off. I hiked, I ran a little bit, hiked a little bit, did a lot of yoga, and really got my meditation back up and running every day, sitting for even just 5 or 10 minutes every morning. So really cradling myself, blood sugar, sleep, slowing down socially, and exercising appropriately for not having very much cortisol at the time. And again, that took a long time, a few months, and now it didn't happen overnight, but all of a sudden I noticed, oh, I feel like myself again. I have energy all day, no napping, feeling fine at night. So it can take a while, and everyone's cradle is different, but finding what your cradle is really important, and honoring the healing that you need to do so that this very physical situation, this endocrine system, can restore itself and function as it's meant to, so that you can wake up feeling energized, stay energized through the day, and then hopefully sleep at night, sleep all night, wake up in the morning feeling great again. So that's just my story. Again, it shows up differently for everyone, but one thing in common is that it shows up for most people I work with. Some people can't wake up in the morning. Some people crash at 3. Some people have no energy. Some people are wired and just running like mad all day, pushing. So just kind of touching base with yourself is important, and thinking about if you need to cradle yourself a little bit. So again, I'll be talking into this pretty extensively, all the different causes of fatigue, or not all of them, but several causes of fatigue soon, and I'll be posting that. So stay tuned and check out my website, like Mountain Rebalance on Facebook or Instagram if you can, and listen to your own body and do what it needs and what it's asking for, so you can be the best you can be and feel like yourself. Thanks.